Hello class, this is part 3 of week 2 here. We're going to be reviewing the Google form that we did earlier this week, so you can check your answers and see how well you did. Thank you for all those who are participating in those. I know that it's not required of you, but it's still nice to see that some of you are actually actively trying this stuff. We're going to continue this format. Remember, I do 3 videos a week. So on Monday is the new challenge of the week, and you can do those activities throughout the week. Usually about Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll post a second one where I'll point to a different website, a different activity, and then Friday we'll kind of go through answers and stuff throughout the week, so you can kind of see how you did. Today we're going to be solving equations, and remember, equations have equal signs. They contain an equality symbol versus expressions. We're going to be solving equations using inverse operations, so that's this little acronym that we have down here, SADMEP. It's subtraction and addition we always try to do first, and then you want to multiply and divide second, and then exponents and parentheses last. So those are kind of the order that we go in. Let's jump right in. I got a few problems from that Google form that we had. So again, goal is to solve this equation, figure out the answer for, in this case, A. And remember, you want to get rid of the numbers that are on the side with the variables. So the side with the variables is the left side here. It looks like that they're multiplying by 5 and that they're subtracting 9. So the order of operations, remember, is SADMEP. So the order that we want to do first is add and subtract first. So we want to get rid of this 9. So you always want to do the opposite operation. You have to do it to both sides. That way the 9's cancel out. And then we're going to have 26 plus 9, which should be 35. All right, so that's the first step. Remember, it's add and subtract first. Second step, let me switch up the color here. Second step, we want to multiply and divide. So now we want to get rid of this 5, because again, we're still on the side with the variables. So we want to get rid of the 5, and so they're multiplying by 5, so the opposite of that is to divide by 5. The 5's will cancel out, and we'll be left with 7. And there's your answer. So that's the idea. That's what we want to get to. Okay, so we're going to jump to the next one. Again, that was the first one on the Google form. Second one that we have. So what we have here is we have the variable on the left. So it looks like they're multiplying by 4 and they're subtracting 8. So remember, the order of operations is SADMEP again. So we want to add and subtract first. So we want to make sure that we are going to add 8 to both sides. The 8's will cancel each other out. And we have 16 plus 8, which should be 24. And so that's the first step. We want to add 8. So we got rid of the 8 now. I'm going to switch up the colors here. So now the next step is we want to stick with that left side still, and we want to get rid of the 4. So the inverse operation of multiplying is to divide. And we want to divide both sides by 4 here. And what will happen here is that this will end up being 6. So that's number 2 on your Google form. All right, let's jump to the next one here. So we'll continue on with this pattern. All right, so on this particular problem, let me zoom in here. It's a little hard to see. Okay, so what we have here is 7a plus 21 equals 56. So we want to get rid of the 21 first, because remember, the order of operations says that we need to do the opposite operation. And so, sorry, that's my dog. And so we want to subtract 21 from both sides. So the 21's cancel. And we want to take 56 minus 21, which should be 35. So that's subtracting 21 to both sides. Remember, you want to add and subtract first. And then the next step, and I'll switch up colors here, is we want to divide by the 7. So your A should be 5. All right, so let's move on to the next one. We're moving on to number 4 here. All right, so on this particular problem, we want to subtract 15 to both sides. So we're going to get rid of the 15s. The 15s cancel out. So if we subtract 15, we get, what is that, 33. And then the last step here is we want to get rid of the 3 here, so we want to divide both sides by 3. 3's cancel, and we're left with 11. That's 33 divided by 3. All right, let's move on to the next one. So, next problem here, what are we on, number 5 now? Okay, so we want to, I'll zoom in here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so the first step we want to do here is add 12. We want to add 12. That is the inverse operation. That way the 12s cancel. We're left with 4b. And if we take 28 and we add 12 to it, it should be 40. And then the last step here is we want to get rid of the 4, so we have to divide by 4. So the 4's cancel out, and we're left with 10. All right, let's go on to the next one here. So I'm going to have to zoom in on this one. It gets a little small here. Sorry, apologies. All right, so on this particular problem, it looks like that they're dividing by 36, so that's kind of a bigger number, and then they're subtracting 3. Remember, the order of operations, we want to add and subtract first, so we want to get rid of this 3 first, and then we're going to get rid of that 36. We always do inverse operations, so let's zoom out here. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That way the 3's cancel out here, and what I'm left with is b divided by 36 equals, and 13 is on the other side because we added 3 to both sides, so the 10 plus 3. All right, now the next step here that we want to do is we want to multiply by 36. So we're going to multiply both sides by 36 because that's the opposite of dividing by 36. These will cancel each other out, and we're going to take 13. I'm going to need a calculator here. So 13 times 36, and we're getting 468. So kind of a bigger number. I know that when we did the Google form, when we did the video on Monday, we did have one problem that was pretty high up there. All right, let's go to our next one here. All right, so we're on number 7 here. So this one's definitely smaller than the last one. Apologies. We have to get rid of the 6. That's the only number that we have to get rid of. So it's just a single step problem. It's not a 2-step like the last few have been. So we want to get rid of that 6. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So the 6's will cancel out, and 15 minus 6 should be 9, and that's your answer. So it's just a single step problem. We want to do the order of operations, so we look for add. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Next, on this one, we're going to subtract 12 from both sides. So we're going to get rid of the 12's here, and we have y equals 24. So that's, 14. So I'm going to take 26 and subtract 12 and get 14. Again, we're just doing single step problems on these last few. All right, let's go to our next one here. So in this one, we're back to a 2-step problem here. So we want to add 10 to both sides, because remember, you want to add and subtract first. That way the 10's go away, because we're always doing opposites. On the other side, we get 14. And then the next step on this problem is to divide by 2. So we divide by 2, the 2's cancel out, and we're left with 7. All right, we only have a few problems left here. We got 3 problems left. All right, so let's go to this next one here. So on this one, we're going to add 5. That's the opposite of subtracting 5. These will cancel each other out. So we're left with 2p on this left side. And on the other side, a negative 11 plus 5 should be a negative 6. And again, it's a negative and a positive, so they kind of subtract each other. Now, on this one, we're going to have to divide next. So we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. The 2's cancel out, and we get a negative 3. All right, and the next one. We have 2 problems left here. All right, so on this one, we're going to add 4 to both sides. We're going to add 4, so the 4's cancel out. That's the inverse operation. It's the opposite. We get 16 on the other side. So now the next step here is we want to get rid of that 3. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is to multiply by 3, because we always do opposites. So the 3's here will cancel out. And then on the other side, 16 times 3, what is that, 48? So we got 48 on the other side. All right, let's move on. This should be our last problem here. All right, so on this one, we want to get rid of the 7 first. We're going to subtract 7 to both sides. The 7's cancel out. So we get a 3q or a 3g. I think that's a q, actually. I better change that. All right, so 3q. And we have, on the other side, we have negative 5, and we're going to subtract 7 more, so we get negative 12 on the other side. And so the next step, the last step that we do here is get rid of this 3. We have to divide by 3. That's the opposite of multiplying. The 3's cancel out. We're left with a q, and this equals a negative 4. So those are all your steps. Thanks for sticking around on this one. On Sunday night or Monday morning, I'll be posting our next activity. I'll stick with these 3 kind of plans, 3 lessons throughout the week, kind of a system. Hopefully you're safe. Hopefully you're healthy and your family's healthy. And if you need any help, just email me or call me. All right, thanks. Bye.